Summer is almost here. Hey, you guys, my name is Lindsay and I'm with Perfectly Pastry. Who's Perfectly Pastry? We are a local bakery in Waterloo, Illinois. How are you doing today? I am really excited to be on here. As a matter of fact, I was like scrambling. I almost didn't put makeup on. I was like, oh, I have to hurry up and get ready. And then I was like, oh, maybe I won't wear makeup today. And then I was like, I better. And by makeup, I mean, I just add a little eye stuff. So, and then I put my glasses on because I'm always like, my glasses make me look like I'm sophisticated. So whenever I want to look like I'm polished, I'm like, throw on my glasses so I look nice and polished for people. Yeah, how are you guys doing today? So I don't have a whole lot to go over at the shop today. Usually I prep by like calling my mom, my sister, and I'm like, hey, what's the plan for this week? What are we doing? I didn't do that. I was super busy up until I got ready to get on here. And so I don't have a whole lot of what's going on in the shop. If you haven't stopped by and seen our adorable wall, I want to invite you to see our flower wall my sister had been working on. It was a lot of fun to like see that come to fruition. I know I talked about it in another live, so I won't go into that today. Today, though, I thought we could talk about the summer. So anybody who has been watching these lives, our page, I don't really know if we call it a show. I've been going weekly since we opened our business and since we started, and back then it was farmers markets and we were getting into wholesale, and I would just get on here and talk about like whatever. And unfortunately fortunately, depending on how you and what you think about the lives, I have continued the let's just talk about life and things. And I talk about the bakery and I talk about whatever it is I want to talk about. And I talk about baking, and I'm not a baker. My mom's the baker. So I talk about a variety of things. And so I really wanted to talk about the summertime, right? Here's why. Every year, my nieces come down and they stay with me over the summer. So if you're like, what are you talking about? So my bakery is located in Waterloo. I opened it up with my mom and my sister. I actually live in Florida, so I help run the bakery remotely from Florida, and my mom and my sister work in the shop and bake, which means I am away from my family for quite some time out of the year. And so every single year since we moved to Florida, my nieces fly down here. They stay with me for a month, and then my kids, my nieces, and we head back up north and we hang out with family for the rest of the summer, and then we come back and get ready for school. So we've been doing that. Fortunately, we've been able to do that since we've moved down here. And so it's just kind of built into our annual plans, for lack of better words. It's so funny because I remember after I did it the first year, my husband's like, you don't really think we're going to do this every single year, do you? And I was like, yeah. And like, that was the agreement to me moving down here, is you had to agree that I could go back for the summer. And I was like, and every holiday. I don't go back every holiday. It is way too cold up there in the north, and it is so expensive to fly up when I have 3 kids, right? And I'm not going to drive. I'm not going to risk having to drive in snow and stuff like that, especially because like we don't have to deal with snow, right? So I usually just save it for the summertime. So my nieces are coming down. Usually they come down in June. Well, they come at the end of May, stay through June, and we go back up July. We actually changed it this year because my eldest daughter is in band camp. And so last year she only got 2 weeks with family. And like, she was really bummed about that. So we kind of shifted it. My nieces are going to come down. We're going to spend a couple of weeks down here. We're going to go back up north, and then we're going to finish our summer here. So it's going to be like a weird split summer. So we'll see how that goes. I'm a little interested. Not like, oh, I can't do it. I'm just curious how it's going to all work out. It's going to feel a little broken for me, probably a little broken for my nieces, but at least my eldest daughter finally gets to spend her summer seeing friends and family, because she was extremely bummed. She missed out on a lot. She didn't get to see a lot of people. And I just don't want to do that to her, since it's like the only time that we get back to see family. So it's important to me. With that being said, my nieces come down next weekend. So I'm really, really excited about that. My kids are all excited. My nieces are all excited. My husband's like, oh, great. I get to have 5 girls in my house again. But that means we've started planning our summer. So a lot of times we will create a calendar of like activities for us to do through the summer. We usually schedule 1 activity a day, and that's like our theme for the day. And so today I thought I'd get on here and kind of talk a little bit about the different activities that we do and just kind of how we structure our summer. So I work for Perfectly Pastry, right? I do all the social media. I'm answering emails. I don't answer phone calls as much, but I'm like invoicing and doing that sort of jazz. So I spend a lot of time focusing on Perfectly Pastry. However, I am actually an operations manager for another company. I work for a travel agency, so a healthcare travel agency. I am second in command in that company. And so I have a whole bunch of people who report to me, and I'm constantly creating training and helping the company grow and that sort of thing. So that takes a lot of my time as well. And now I'm going to have 5 children. at my house. Well, it's not fair to say children because the eldest two are now teens. The middle two are becoming preteens, and then the youngest is in elementary school. So children's probably not the right terminology anymore, but I'll have 5 kiddos ages from 16 down to 7 in my house. And so I want to kind of explain like what we do and how we manage that. So the first thing that we do to kind of help manage that is we create a calendar. And what that does is each day that gives us kind of an idea or a direction of what we're going to do instead of waking up and be like, what do we want to do today? And getting 5 people coordinated to do something, 5, 6, I guess, technically, if you count me, 7, if my husband is joining us. I guess 8, 9, I guess 9 if my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law are joining us, right? So there's like a group of us and we're trying to work that out. So a lot of times we'll sit down and we'll put one activity on our calendar a day. And then that gives us some direction. Now we change it. Like some days we might get up and be like, we don't want to do that today. Or if it's raining. So one of the things we're going to do is go to the swamp sanctuary. So my middle daughter loves birds. And we haven't been to the swamp sanctuary by my house in several years at this point. We've gone to a couple different bird rookeries and stuff like that, but I don't even know that my nieces have been to that one. So I was like, okay, maybe this year we'll go to the one that's near my home. By the way, if you've ever been on TikTok or YouTube, there is a video of Corkscrew Swamp Sanctuary. It is like, I don't know, 3 miles up the road, maybe 5 miles up the road from my house. And if you're ever on there, there is a video of a Florida panther. There's this lady like walking down the trail, and it's not even a trail. So it's because it's swamp, right? Like it's, for lack of better words, like bridge. Like it's a bridge you walk over, but it's like a wooden, I don't know why I can't think of the word. It's like a wooden bridge you walk around, right? And so it takes you deep into the swamp and back out. You see alligators and birds, you see all sorts of things. And this lady is filming, and this panther comes into her path, and she's like, oh, and it runs to her and past her, and she has it on video. Anyways, that is right down from my house. It's funny because I have a lot of people on my team who are like, there's no way I'd live in Florida. We have a lot of people in Florida on our team, but there are some who are like, I don't do snakes, I don't do alligators, I don't do panthers, like I don't do anything that wants to eat me. And I was just like, really? And so it was funny because the other day, actually, there was an alligator. Usually they stay in the water. They don't really come out and up to our homes and stuff like that. Unless they're like coming up to humans and stuff, they don't even remove them. But we had one that actually got up and like was in the bushes by somebody's front door. And one of my teammates were like, I'm out. That would never happen for me. I've never had one walk up to my door. So there's that. But we see them all the time. Like all of our waterways have them. They're called lakes here, but I grew up on a farm. And so they're more like ponds. I'm gonna be real about that. They are definitely not lakes. They are more like little ponds. But all of our little lakes have alligators and stuff. And when you see them in front of the waterways and schools and stuff, like no joke. Okay. Totally digress. Anyway, so so we create this calendar with activities. The other thing that I have to do is if I'm not careful, I'll get super absorbed in work. And I'll be like, oh, just one more thing, right? We naturally all do that. So I have to be very strict with my time. I still get up at 7 o'clock every morning. And I'm like on work. Okay, not 7. Okay, so I probably like set my alarm for 7, and I get out of bed and I'm ready to go by 8. Sometimes that maybe I'm rolling out of bed at 7:55. Whatever. Like I don't have to necessarily dress up for work. So I want to be ready to go usually by 8, and then I work until about 10. And at that point in time, I wait for the kiddos to get up. We like do breakfast, we do an activity, and then we like hang out and stuff. And then over lunch, we'll have lunch. And then for about an hour after lunch, I'm checking emails, answering my team, doing some of my work, things like that. And then in the afternoon, we typically will go swimming, or we'll go for walks, or we'll go play outside. Like we like to get the volleyball and play. So we have a sand volleyball pit up at our clubhouse, but we hit it around in our front yard all the time. We chill out in the front yard and things like that. So then I typically do that. And then we'll have like dinner. And like then we'll have like movie time and hangout time, board games a lot of times we'll do. And then as everybody's settling for bed, I usually will end the day answering the rest of my emails, finishing up any kind of work, and then like we start that over. And then I don't work on the weekends. The time that gets really hairy for us is when we go to Disney. So my nieces have annual passes, but theirs are during the week and ours are anytime. So during the week is really hard because both my husband and I are working. So sometimes we have to juggle that one. And like last year, we took like 3 trips to Disney with my nieces here. They were all in the middle of the week. It was like every time I turned around, I was like plugging in and working from Disney straight up. I found some places to be able to plug my laptop in and actually work. I've done it like in line. Yeah, you'd be surprised what I've had to do. But whatever, I digress. Okay, so actually what I thought I would get on here. So like we do that. And I thought I'd tell you like some of the activities that we actually do. Well, let me explain the activities that we actually currently are planning to do. We've done all kinds of activities. Sometimes they're as simple as we're going to make rainbow spaghetti tonight. My kids love making rainbow spaghetti. All the kids love making rainbow spaghetti, rainbow pizza, rainbow anything is so much fun. Like all you need is food coloring and like generic's probably not the right word, but like bland looking food. So noodles, cheese, right? Mozzarella cheese because it's white. We've made mac and cheese the same way. We use mozzarella or not mac and cheese. We could make mac and cheese now that I think about it. Grilled cheese. And so we like divided it all and then you like line it up perfectly. A lot of fun, right? Like that's something as simple as that. We've tie-dyed shirts. We've gone, so they do free days for residents at the zoo and the botanical gardens here. So we've done things like that. So like we do a variety of things. This year though, I think what we've decided, we typically go to the pool at least once a day. You can almost time when it's going to rain around here, right? So like we obviously have to kind of coordinate it so we don't hit the rain. So my teenagers are not real big on waking up in the morning. And now that the 2 other ones are preteens, they're not early risers either. So we used to go like first thing in the morning, like the minute the pool woke up, we were there. We would go swim for a couple hours, come back, eat breakfast pretty much. Like that used to be the thing. Those older kids, they don't want to do that anymore. So we kind of shifted and we'll do it after the rain in the evening around dinner time. I'm such a creature of habit. I like to eat dinner at the same time, but that's okay. I'm going to get over it and we'll go swimming in the evening after it rains. So we usually do the pool. And we have kind of been polling each other to figure out what we want to do. So the pool definitely is on there. So we have an arcade out here that on Thursdays nights, you can get an all-you-can-play card for $10. It's from 7 to midnight. And we usually do that once. We go out and we spend from 7 o'clock until midnight. Those kids are dragging butt when we get home. And I let them just run around at the arcade and play as many games as they want. And it has like a bar and grill next to it. So we'll get desserts and we can have drinks. And if they're hungry, we'll get appetizers. It's a lot of fun. We do that one every single year because you can't beat $10 all you can play from 7 to 12. And they just go crazy. We used to have them like share cards because the youngest couldn't really play a whole lot of cards. But now she's older. Everybody gets a card. Everybody but me. I don't typically play them. I just walk around. So we always do that one. We have, like I said, we have a lot of lakes around the area. So we'll go fishing and things like that. I usually take them to the docks though because of the alligators and not necessarily on the banks. It's probably fine to do it on the banks. I'm paranoid and I actually don't do that. But when we're there, we can also watch the alligators and stuff because like I said, most of our lakes have them. Ponds, lakes, whatever. Of course, Disney is obviously on our list. We are DVC members. We bought a DVC as soon as we moved to Florida, right? So if you don't know what DVC is, it's like the timeshare for Disney. And so with that, we get to stay at like the really nice fancy hotels as we call them. And so we always do that little trip when the girls are here. We all pick a hotel that we've never stayed at or that we've always wanted to stay at. And we go and we just do like a day or 2 there when we just stay on the resorts and eat the food and have a good time. So we'll definitely be doing that. One of the things one of my nieces wants to do is relay races. So we are going to do some egg runs, some egg toss, maybe some balloon toss. I like the egg toss one. I probably shouldn't do that one. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I surprise them and not boil all of them. And a sack race. They're all excited about the sack race. I don't remember doing a sack race and except for when I was a kid. So we will see. That'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to do some sack races. We play Spud. Have you guys ever played Spud? So Spud was a game that I used to play with my cousins. My sister and I and all my cousins used to play. You throw the ball in the air. You call somebody's name. That person has to catch the ball and everybody has to then freeze. And then you get to take, I think it's three steps. I don't know. I'd have to ask somebody towards that person. And then you throw the ball. And if you hit them, they get an S. If you miss, you get an SPUD. It's a lot of fun. We actually played it last year when we were all chilling at the park in Waterloo when we played it. That was a lot of fun. We're going to do some bird watching. Like I said, my middle daughter loves birds. So we're actually going to make some bird houses this summer. So one of the other things is I like have a bunch of craft stuff for the kids, and they're always like painting and building things. Like I have 2 huge totes, and I just collect art supplies and recycle material all year long for them to just play at. This year, we're really excited because we have annual passes to the Tampa Zoo. The way that Florida works is you usually can add quite a few people onto your passes at the zoos, museums, and things like that. So my nieces are on there. So we're going to go check out the Tampa Zoo. We've already been. My nieces have not. Puffy paint. Everybody's like, please, let's make puffy paints. We're going to make some puffy paint. Like I said, we paint a lot around here. So, and then board games. Like we have to build in board games in this house. Like we all love board games. We typically will play at least one round of a board game a night in the summertime. And sometimes it'll be just the kids. Sometimes it's all of us. Sometimes it's just us older, like us and the older kids. Like it just depends. But yeah, that's currently what's on our list. So now we just got to plug and play those into our calendar, and we are ready to go. And I literally have like a little over a week, and then my nieces are here. They get it on the 21st. So also with that, that means that gearing up, being as busy as I am, doing 2 jobs and trying to hang out with 5 kids all summer, that takes away a lot of my time. So I don't always do my lives as consistently, and I'm not always posting videos and things as consistently. So very sorry about that. You're probably going to notice that I skip a couple of months between June and July, and that's because we're here and then we head up to Waterloo. When I'm working in the shop, it's really hard to record the video in the shop, right? Because it's kind of weird. So I don't always record them. So I try to like record and schedule and all that jazz, but quite frankly, it's all about spending time with family. And so it gets put to the wayside. Not gonna lie. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off of here. I just want to get on here today, kind of give you some ideas of some of the things we're gonna do for this summer and kind of how we structure it so that maybe you're like, oh, I'd love to think about putting it into a calendar, and then we kind of have an idea. And we, like I said, we rearrange the calendar all the time. The other thing that I'm doing, this is my total mom hack, and I do it with my kids, is my 2 older kids cook dinner one night a week. They have to make dinner. They have to submit their recipe. They have to submit their supplies to me. And then they're in charge of making dinner. And now I have 2 additional kids that can make dinner. So literally, I will not have to cook dinner at all during the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1 kid is cooking every single night. Friday, we always do movie and pizza night. We've been doing that for years. And so it doesn't change just because my nieces are down. So I don't even have to make dinner on Fridays. The only time I got to feed people is on Saturday and Sunday, which is fine because then I have my husband who can help me cook. I am a genius. Yes, I know. You can totally steal that hack. All right, you guys, I am going to hop off of here. If you're watching this video on Facebook, you should be liking and following us on Facebook. If Facebook's not your jam, or you're watching this on something else that's not Facebook, go ahead and follow us on social media. Facebook is the only one that we are at Perfectly Pastry Bakery. All the other social media, we are at Perfectly Pastry. All right, you guys, I'm going to hop off of here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.